Automotive technology changes quickly. To be successful, shop owners and technicians need to keep up with the latest technology. They also need help explaining to their customers the importance of preventive maintenance, including the need to replace critical wear parts before they fail on the road. Many customers understand the need for oil and filter changes. From a safety standpoint, however, other components are even more important, but don't get the attention they need. The Accessory Belt Drive System, for example. That's the system of belts, pulleys, and tensioner that transmits power from the crankshaft to important accessories like the alternator, AC compressor, power steering pump, and water pump in many cases. On many cars, one belt called a serpentine belt drives all these components. Customers need to understand that with only one belt, a failure in the system can leave them stranded. Wherever you are, that's as far as you're going. The most important component in a healthy belt drive system is the automatic tensioner. A worn tensioner can lead to premature failure of the belt, the alternator, and water pump. Here's why. For a belt to transmit power from the crankshaft to the accessories for as long as possible and as quietly as possible, it must have the correct amount of tension throughout its duty cycle. Due to accessory inertia and engine acceleration and deceleration, belt tension requirements vary and require the tensioner to make adjustments to ensure proper function of the belt. The automatic tensioner then must supply the right amount of tension at just the right time. A worn tensioner allows the belt to slip, which leads to three things you don't want: decreased accessory efficiency, excessive heat, and noise. Heat from a slipping belt is transmitted directly to pulley bearings. The alternator is especially susceptible to heat damage since the pulley is much smaller, typically has more belt surface area contact, turns faster, and has a higher bearing load than other accessories. In addition, the tensioner must control the amount of oscillation in the system. The normal firing of the cylinders creates vibrations in the system that are damaging to the belt, pulley bearings, and especially water pump seals. The tensioner damper is what is supposed to control these vibrations. Excessive oscillation creates a hammering effect on components that you rely on every day. Here's the bottom line: a little preventive maintenance. By that I mean inspecting and replacing a worn tensioner can lead to three things you do want: lower costs by increasing belt life and extending the life of other important components, increased dependability, and lower belt noise. We've taken the belt drive components off an engine to demonstrate the importance of checking each item in the system and how wear in one component can affect the performance and life of the other. The real key to an efficient serpentine belt drive system is the belt rib to pulley groove interface. Belt ribs should align with the pulley grooves exactly. When a car is new, everything works correctly, but over time, normal wear and aging takes its toll, and each component in the system must be examined to determine the effect it is having on all the other components. Several factors determine how effectively and quietly the belt can transmit power to the pulley: the condition of the belt, the condition of the pulleys, the tension in the system, and alignment of pulleys and idlers. Let's look at the types of damage that worn tensioners, idlers, and pulleys can inflict on an innocent belt. Remember that each symptom indicates a problem that must be resolved in the belt drive system before a new belt is installed. Compare the condition of this new belt with an older belt. Notice that the V-ribs have a shiny or glazed appearance. This indicates that the old belt was slipping on the drive. Replacing this belt without a correct diagnosis of why it became glazed in the first place guarantees that a new belt will have the same problem after a short period of time. As we mentioned, belt slip can be caused by a worn tensioner, but it also can be caused by worn or contaminated pulleys, a high mileage belt with more than 5% material loss, a contaminated belt, or a belt that is stretched or is too long. Notice that this older belt has quite a bit of rib cracking. Some cracks are a normal part of belt aging for older neoprene belts. For older neoprene belts, more than 3 cracks in a 3-inch section of one rib means that the belt has reached 80% of its intended life and should be replaced. Although some neoprene replacement belts are still sold in the aftermarket, the industry standard for original equipment and replacement belts is a highly crack-resistant elastomer known as EPDM. Since EPDM belts typically run 100,000 miles with no visual cracks, a better indicator of wear for EPDM belts is material loss. Tire tread depth can be easily measured with a special tool. Now, technicians can easily check serpentine belts for material loss with a free tool available from Gates. When the gauge is placed in the grooves of most new belts, the top surface of the gauge sits above the belt ribs and can be easily seen or felt to confirm that the belt is in good condition. When placed in the grooves of a worn belt, however, the top of the gauge does not extend above the ribs, which is easily detected even with the belt still on the drive. Simply hold the tool in a belt groove with one finger and feel for the position of the tool. If the tool cannot be felt above the level of the ribs, a significant amount of rib material has been lost and belt replacement should be considered, especially when other components like the AC compressor or alternator are being serviced. This new go or no-go method of belt inspection is quick, can easily be performed with the belt still on the engine. Here's another important belt inspection tip. Comparing the height of the tool in all belt grooves is a simple check for pulley misalignment or other problems in the drive system. The tool should be at the same level in all belt grooves. If not, the technician should remove the belt and check for pulley misalignment and pulley wear. Worn or misaligned pulleys will always reduce the life of a new belt. Here's an example that shows why informed technicians should always check belts for material loss. A belt material loss problem can sometimes masquerade as a more expensive AC component failure. For example, some cars, like this Toyota 4Runner, have a speed sensor on the AC compressor. If it senses that the compressor shaft speed is not the same as the crankshaft, a relay will shut down the AC system and flash an AC light on the dashboard telling you that something is wrong. This is a safety feature to prevent damage to the AC compressor, serpentine belt, and other engine accessories. The AC system may not work, but the car is still drivable. In some cases, the real problem is caused by a slipping belt, not the AC compressor or magnetic clutch. Knowing this can save the customer $600 or more in unnecessary repair costs. It can also eliminate a comeback from an angry customer and save the reputation of the shop. Here's another example. Bearing failure on locked center drives. On locked center accessory drives, where tension is adjusted manually rather than by an automatic tensioner, a technician may not see the usual belt cracking, so assuming the old belt is okay, the tech may over-tension the drive to the point where hub loads are so high that bearings overheat and destroy the AC compressor, alternator, and other costly components. And finally, just like worn tires, worn belts can hydroplane in wet weather. Here's why. V-ribbed belts are designed to allow some clearance between the base of the belt ribs and the tips of the pulley. When enough material is worn away, the pathway for water and other debris is lost and the belt can lose traction with the pulley. That means the belt will slip and can lead to other problems. Remember the AC speed sensor issue? Here's the bottom line. Cracks are no longer the only visual reminder to change the belt. Knowing that material loss leads to belt slip, which leads to all sorts of nasty problems, technicians should confidently recommend replacing every high mileage belt. We've talked about how tensioner wear can damage a belt. Now let's look at another common problem that not only damages the belt, but creates a lot of noise issues. Poor pulley alignment. You know how alignment problems can wear tires unevenly? An alignment problem with your belt drive system damages the belt. Pulley misalignment can wear belt ribs unevenly, leading to vibration, tension loss, belt slip, and poor performance. In severe cases, the belt can run off the drive or be sheared laterally between the ribs by what's known as rib topping. Notice that the sides of this older belt don't have the same appearance. This side appears to be scuffed or abraded. You can see that the tensile cord is slightly frayed. This is an important visual indication that one or more pulleys is out of alignment, or that the tensioner is worn and misaligned. An early audible indication of pulley alignment problems may be in